Hello there, everyone. How are you all doing? Today I'm going to be doing another tier list. This time I figured I'd switch it up though, and we're going to do MLB. So we're going to do the top 100 MLB players, and we're going to be ranking them 1 through 100. This is based off of the top 100 MLB list that came out, I believe, at the start of the season. So it's a little outdated. But I mean, it is what it is. It gets the grand scope of things pretty sorted out. Now, it's kind of tough to do these lists because they're so varied in a lot of different ways, especially because, position players are much different than pitchers and vice versa. So it's going to be kind of tough, but I'm going to try my hardest to kind of try and rank everything as it goes, and, kind of make my way down. But I'm just going to jump right into it. If you disagree with any of my picks, that's fine. You're obviously open to disagreeing to whatever you disagree with. If you do disagree with something, though, I'd love to hear why. It always intrigues me, especially with baseball, and how up and down seasons can be for most players, and how luck kind of factors into everything. It's always interesting to hear what people think. But with that being said, I'm just going to jump right into it. So I think the obvious number one is Shohei. He's obviously the best player in baseball. I don't think it's particularly close. So there's not really much to say there. I feel like Judge is very easily number two. And, I mean, 2, maybe 3-time MVP, I think. He was insane last year, too. Just really, really good. And this is kind of the point where it gets really difficult. I'm going to try and justify players as I go down the list. So that way it makes more sense. Maybe it's not a bad idea to kind of start with kind of who's at the bottom, who's at the top, and then kind of, mush it together a little. So I can kind of figure out where my middle point stands. In terms of who I think is obviously the worst player on this list, by the way, I'm basing this all off of this season, just to be let it known. It's tough. Who is obviously the worst player on this list? I feel like the obvious worst player is on first look, I feel like it's George Kirby. Why don't we start with this, right? This is who I think probably is going to end up in this tier. I think it's going to be Sedane, Kirby, Eovaldi, Eugenio, probably Seiya, Abbott, Jazz, Quan, Riley. Hold on, 1, 2, 3, 6, 8. I have one more. It's a good question. Probably. Man, this is tough. Maybe it's Nico. Or Merrill. We'll say it's Nico for now. And we'll start with that as our base point at the bottom. And we'll kind of figure everything else out as it goes. But that's kind of our base point, is that. In terms of the top, I feel like it's very obvious that Skeens is the next best. And then I'd probably put Scooble too. And then from there, I'd probably go Soto, Yamamoto, Bobby Witt. I have 3 more I can put up there. Junior, PCA, and Jordan. I feel like that's probably the top 10. I think that makes sense. How I want to order it, though, is I feel like Jordan should be right here. Bobby, I think, is fine there. I think that looks okay. Next tier, I'm going to put Kyle. I mean, absolute home run masher. Can't really get much better than that. Definitely one of the best players in the league. The reason why I put Jordan under Soto is because I feel like Soto as an offensive player is better all around. Although Jordan might be having the better season, Soto overall as a player is probably better. Bobby Witt's been having a bit of a down season, so Yamamoto over Bobby makes sense. And honestly, Bobby might be worse than Junior right now, just because Junior's mashing home runs. And then I'm fine with PCA being over Bobby too. Actually, it might be Bobby here and Schwarber's up here. Just because Bobby's having such a down season where it's hard to really, and I mean that on just the offensive side. WAR-wise, he's insane. But we've seen him be more all-around in the past than he is right now. So, I definitely put him in there. I think it's fair to put Chris Sanchez. Where's Mizorowski? We need Mizorowski too. Hopefully he's on here. I'd be shocked if he didn't make their top 100. Churio, Webb, Bo, Langford, Harper. He might not have made their list. Wow, okay. Then give me a second here. Alright, well, we're putting Mizorowski in here. Alright. There we go. We have Mizorowski in here now. Probably top. This is so much tougher than basketball. It's hard to clearly define who's the best MLB player. I think you gotta put Ronald in that 11 through 20. I think you gotta put Ellie, just because they're insane power speed threats. I think you gotta put James Wood in there. I think Bryce Harper's still in there. Olsen's probably in there. I have 2 more I can put up there. I feel like Garrett Crochet's in there. And then this season, I think I'd give it to Byron. Or actually, no, I'd give it to Cease before Byron, I think. All right, that's fine. Now to kind of sort everything out, I think Wood there makes sense. Ellie over Ronald just because of health right now. Ronald below Olsen makes sense. Cease before both of Crochet and Ronald makes sense. I feel like that looks fine. It's tough with pitchers and hitters because they're so different. It's tough to kind of tell where they are in terms of the tier rankings. Because it's such different play styles. Moving to the 21 through 30s, I'd probably put, I think, Corbin Carroll. I put, oh wow, I don't even have Kurtz up there. Maybe not Crochet down and put Kurtz up above. Yeah, I think that's fine. Bobby's probably been better than Harper. Yeah, that looks fine. I didn't even realize I didn't have Kurtz up there. Now what? This is where it gets really, really difficult. Sale needs to be up there. Who else, man? Is CJ on here? Is Abrams? Abrams should definitely be in this tier. Jordan Walker should be in here, but he's not on this list. Terang should definitely be up there. Where's Terang at? I know I saw him. There he is. Terang. I think I'm going to put Miller and Chapman up here. Just because it makes sense. Miller and Chapman. Who else? I had 3 more slots. Pete should go in there. Duran probably should go in there. And man, so tough. Honestly, Michael Harris. So I want to kind of put this in order here. Crochet's probably better than Sale. CJ's been better than Corbin. Terang's been better than Corbin. I'm kind of okay leaving this where it is. Harris has probably been more impactful than Pete. I think that looks okay. Looking at it, 31 through 40 probably should be Vlad, Ramirez, and Gunnar. Just because they've had really down seasons. They're probably better than what they're playing at right now. But I can't justify putting them in the top 30 just off of how they're playing right now. Naylor should definitely go in this bottom tier. I'd probably put Wheeler in this tier. Freeman, probably. Byron should definitely have been... Actually, I might put Byron in over Duran. Move Duran down. Just because Byron is... He's killing it, man. If you haven't seen Byron Buxton over the last 2 years, I implore you to go check his, stat pages. Byron Buxton has been bonkers this year. And, I mean, Michael Harris has been too. I think Michael Harris defensively has had more impact than Pete Alonso. And so, just because of that fact alone, I'd put Pete Alonso at the bottom of that tier. But he's obviously been better than Vlad this season. Which, by the way, Vlad has been struggling so bad. I think he's batting like 250 right now with only 5 home runs on the whole season. And it's almost August. Which is like... It's really embarrassing, man. He hasn't even probably been the best player on his team this year. Obviously, because I put Cease over him. But even on the offensive side, I probably put Kazuma Okamoto above him too. Which just goes to show how much Vlad has been struggling this season. And J-Ram has too. I know we like to think of J-Ram as this beacon of consistency, but he's had a really bad year so far. Especially contact-wise, he's really been struggling to hit the ball in play. And it's cost him a lot of opportunities. And he finally got hurt for the first time in what feels like 3 years. Which also doesn't really help him all that much. And Gunner's just having another down season. Gunner's so much better than what he's playing at right now. If he was playing like he did in 2024, I'd probably put him in maybe even the top 10 or the top 20. But he's just not playing like that. And it's not necessarily a fault of his own. I mean, it is, but I mean, injuries have been on him, and he just hasn't had consistency at the plate, and he can't stop swinging at the ball. So that's why he's there. Realistically, Freeman and Wheeler are probably better than these guys right now, but I feel like keeping them in this 30 through 40 range is fine, just because they're having such down seasons. And so I'm willing to give them a little bit of leeway. I'd probably put Churio in here this season. He's been really, really good. Jackson Churio's been great in terms of, defense or being able to play. I'd probably put Drake Baldwin in here too. Just a beacon of consistency for the Braves this year. He's been really good. Cody Bellinger, for sure, should be up there. And you know what? I think I'd put Joe Ryan up there too. Joe Ryan has been really, really good. He's probably going to get traded to another team at the deadline. But still, you should check on how good he's doing. He's doing really good. I think I'd put it something like this. I feel like this makes sense. Julio, I think I want to put in this 40 through 50 range. Just because he's better than he's playing at right now. Mookie, I definitely want to put in that range. Will Smith, I definitely want to put in this range. Riley Green and Hunter Green should definitely be in this range. Lindor should. Kettle should. Webb should. Roman Anthony should. And for the sake of it, Edwin Diaz probably should as well. So I want to kind of reorder this a little. Mookie should probably be there. Riley Green and Hunter Green should definitely be up there. Lindor, I'm kind of fine having right here. Kettle, I'm kind of fine having where he is. Webb's fine. I feel like that looks okay. The reason why I'd pick Webb over Roman Anthony is just because Roman Anthony last year was really good in his rookie year, but we haven't gotten the chance to see if he's going to take a jump yet. Meanwhile, we know Webb is like a staple guy in the Giants rotation. So to me, it just makes more sense to put him above. Kettle Marte is really good. Great switch hitting, power bat, but he's not been as good this year as he has in the year prior. Will Smith on the IL, but always a beacon of consistency, a catcher, one of the best catchers in the league for sure. Lindor, same thing for him at shortstop. Julio, same thing for him at, center field. A little bit injury prone, but still really good. And still definitely has some things that he has to prove. But a good player. Mookie, not as good as he used to be. It's been 2 years now. Ever since he got hurt or had that, debilitating sickness that he had before last season, he just hasn't been the same player, really. And it's not a fault of his own. There's nothing you can really do about that, but his stats just all around have been way, way down. So objectively, it's just hard to not put him in the top 50, but it's hard to put him higher anywhere than, the 40s. Just because his production has not been really the same as it used to be. Hunter Green, when he pitches, is elite. But coming off of a really tough injury, it's hard to put him above any of the other guys right now. And Riley Green's good, but I don't think he's been better than Cody Bellinger. I don't think he's been better than most of the guys above him. You can make an exception for these three right here. But other than that, I don't think he's been better than any of the other guys above him. So I feel like that just makes sense. And yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at with the top 50. So this is what my top 50 looks like. If you are curious, this is who I think are the top 50 players in the entirety of baseball. I tried to keep it relatively spiced up, and throw in some relative, balance between each of the tiers. Obviously, there's some guys missing here, but I couldn't find something that's perfect. And so I'm just working with what I got. But I certainly, if you are curious, I think I would put Ben Rice probably like in the 30s. I think I put Jordan Walker around there too. Dylan Dingler, I'd probably put maybe in this lower half. Hunter Goodman would probably go in this upper half-ish. Maybe in like the 20 through 50 range. And Otto Lopez, I'd probably have on the bottom half of this as well. So if you were curious about some of those guys, that's probably where I would put them. JJ Weatherholt probably would be down here. Same with Colson Montgomery. Moon would probably be around here. Yeah, I feel like that covers most of the breakout guys from this season. Schlittler would definitely be in here. Yeah, I think that covers most of it for the most part. But I just felt like I needed to share where some of these guys would land, just because some of them aren't on here, obviously. So, it's hard to gauge where my opinion would be, but that's where I would put them. Moving on to the 50 through 60 range, I'm going to put Tatis, Kyle Tucker, Nolan McLean, William Contreras, Hunter Brown, Max Fried, Raffy, Logan Gilbert, probably Snell, and I'd put Adley. This is kind of the tier where I'm like, okay, you're good, but you still have a lot that you need to prove, or you're trying to actively bounce back. I'd probably put McLean at the top with Farid and Gilbert. I'd probably put Gilbert above McLean, and same with Farid. Contreras above Tatis. Brown in between Tucker and Tatis. Raffy above Tatis. And Adley above Snell. I feel like that just makes sense. Tatis and Tucker have struggled a lot, but Tatis is starting to heat up, and Tucker, I think, is too good of a player to be playing this bad. And so I'm fine and comfortable putting him in the 50 through 60 range, just because, I mean, he has so much more that he can prove. Like, for example, right, let's look at Kyle Tucker, and years prior, he had been absolutely bonkers. This is his last few years, 2024, 23, and 25. All really good seasons. He was an all-star in each of those seasons. Won 2 Silver Sluggers, and in 23, he finished top 5 in the MVP vote, and he probably would have in 24 as well. Which just goes to show how good of a player he is when he's at his peak, but he's just not at his peak right now. Another player that you can do that for is Tatis, who ever since 2023 and coming back from the PED suspension has just not been the same player. He's been good in years prior, but never elite. And he's definitely struggling this year. Missed the All-Star team for the first time in a while. And, I mean, just not overly a good season in totality. And he can definitely play way above the standard that he's at right now. So that's why I kind of put them there. Just because I feel like that's, interesting, and I feel like it's something to note. Next here is where it gets kind of interesting. I'm going to put Corey Seager, I'm going to put Alejandro Kirk. I'm going to put probably Turner, Kyle Raleigh, Wyatt Langford, Shea Langoliers, Jesus Luzardo, Matt Chapman, Alex Bregman, and Manny Machado. I do want to kind of order this a little. I'd probably put Cal top. Actually, no, that's a lie. I put Shea over him. Luzardo over him. Trey's going to go towards the bottom. Chapman can go above Langford. Kirk can go above Seager. I feel like that looks fine. Most of these guys haven't been too different in the fact that most of them are struggling in large amounts, except for Shea, who honestly you could convince me to play higher, but Shea Langoliers in his current state, is pretty good. Although he is out for the rest of the season, so obviously that's going to halt where I put him on this list. Cal, much better than he's performing right now. He should be higher on this list. But obviously his performance is going to knock him down a lot. Same with Kirk, who struggled with injuries. Seager, who struggled with injuries. Chapman, who struggled with injuries. Wyatt Langford, who also did, but he's back and healthy now. Bregman, who's just kind of been ass. Same with Manny, and same with Trey. They're all struggling in their own ways, and so I feel like it's fair to kind of put them in this tier. And the 70s through 80s might be very similar as well. Because I'm going to put Bo Bichette, Geraldo Perdomo, Brian Wu, Willie Adames, Michael Bush, Michael Garcia, Cole Reagans, Brent Rooker, and Kevin Gausman, and I'll put Freddie Peralta as well. This is kind of a tier where, again, they're all just kind of struggling. Bo Bichette's doing the best of them all, but it's not really saying a bunch. Brian Wu is also struggling a lot from how last season went. And all these guys are either on the IL or just not having a good year. So I feel like it's fair to kind of put them in that range, just because they're struggling a lot, and, you know, that's tough. But they should bounce back either next season or at some point during this season. And even if some of them get traded, they should bounce back, I hope. But that's where I put them. And then the 80s through 90s is going to kind of just be like me trying to sift through the rest of them and kind of see where I would interchange the 90s and the 100s. Because opinions could definitely change. I think if I want to cross-reference, I think Merrill should be down here. DeGrom should definitely be up. It's tough. I can't figure out who that is. I don't know why, but I can't. Going into it, I think Kwan's probably the worst player. Nico. Riley's probably been worse than Nico. I'd want Nico over Naylor right now. I'd want Nico over Jazz. I wouldn't want him over Abbott. I'd want Abbott over Eugenio and Seiya. I'd want Eovaldi over Abbott. Sedane I'd want over Kirby and over Merrill, so maybe I'll knock Merrill down. Sedane over Jacob and Dansby and whoever this is, and Duran and Framber and Neto. Alright, so Sedane right there seems right. He took a big jump. Dansby should probably go down. I'd rather, I think, have Abbott and Eovaldi over Dansby. You can probably bump Duran down too. And I feel like that looks okay. So with that being said, the reason why I kind of went Sedane over everybody else is just because his defense is that elite. He's so good defensively. Jeremy Pena is still really good. DeGrom at his ripe old age of 37 is still really good. Neto is proving himself to be really valuable for the Angels and one of the founding pieces on that team. Abbott is really good. And a solid young piece, although he is struggling this season, but I think he's better than what he's playing at. Framber's always going to be solid. I frankly don't know who that is. I have no idea. Rangers solid. Jacob Wilson's better, even though he's been injured. Eovaldi's good. And kind of everybody in the bottom tier is kind of just struggling in general. So I feel like they should all be lumped into that same group. They all have like OPSs under 700. Or have just had overall contact struggles or some other type of struggle this season. So, yeah, but with that being said, this is my top 50 or my top 100 just based off of what the list gave me. Obviously, I'd have some other players in here too if it were up to me and I'd get rid of some. But this is just what I have. So with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed. If you disagree, feel free to let me know. But I hope you stick around to watch more, and I hope you all take care. See ya.